Lucy sat up straight, and Clara craned her neck, at last discerning the shape of a wheeled cart on the side of the road. They pulled over, and a man stepped forward into the road, holding his lantern aloft. "It's him!" cried Lucy, scrambling to gather her skirts. The driver tugged on a lever to open the folded wooden doors by their legs, and Douglas rushed forward as Lucy nearly leaped into his arms, setting the yellow glow of his lamp swaying. He exhaled harshly, in what sounded like anticipation and joy. "At last!" He set his lantern down on the ground to fully embrace her. Lucy's hood slid off her caramel-coloured locks while they kissed with abandon, and Clara averted her eyes with a grin while disembarking. She noticed the driver had likewise chosen to busy himself by retrieving Lucy's bag from inside the cab. They slowly pulled away to gaze at each other, then laughed in breathless disbelief at their moment of indulgence. Clara was happy to see that the earlier pallor of her sister's cheek had now been replaced with a glorious blush of colour, further clarification that they were doing the right thing. She would do anything to see her sister that happy forever. Douglas clasped Lucy's hand and glanced away from her to focus on Clara, his grey eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you for bringing her." Clara smiled. "I dare say she would have brought herself just fine had I been unavailable to assist. I've never seen a woman so determined in all my life." His expression turned serious. "Will you be all right? Your parents—" "All will be well for me, if you can promise all will be well for her," she said, tipping her head in her sister's direction. "I see," he said, his warm gaze drifting downwards over Lucy's countenance. "Well, that is a promise easily kept." A noise in the distance caught their attention, and Lucy quickly tugged her hood back over her head. Clara, too, ensured hers was in place as a carriage barreled past them in the empty lane. She sought her sister's eyes. "I should be getting back, before Mother and Father find something is amiss." Lucy came forward to hold her close, and Clara breathed in the sweet smell of her sister's hair. She was desperate to commit every detail to memory, for she had no idea when she might next be able to see Lucy. In spite of their brave faces, saying goodbye was hard, and both women were wiping away tears by the time they pulled away from each other. "I'm not sure how we'll keep in touch," Lucy sniffed. Fresh tears blurred Clara's vision. "It's probably better if we don't, at least for now." She kissed her sister, then turned to place a kiss on Douglas's cheek as well. "Take good care of her for me," she whispered. He gripped her shoulders. "Thank you, Clara, for everything." She nodded mutely, then aimed a tiny smile at her sister. "Get in the cab before you beg her not to go." Clara was going to miss her so much, but she would take comfort in the fact that Lucy was living a life of her own choosing, with a man who truly loved her. Most women were not so lucky. Clara would likely not be so lucky. She turned with stiff, leaden legs and forced herself to board the cab. There was time for one last wave before the whip of the reins propelled the horse into action, and it was only when the cab pulled around on its return route that the gravity of what was happening sank in. Her sister was leaving everything, leaving all of them, leaving her behind for a new life. Tomorrow, when their parents awoke, everything would be different. And even though she wasn't going with Lucy on her journey, Clara felt as if her life had just shifted in some massive, unchangeable way. A sudden panic closed in around her chest. Desperate for one last glimpse of her sister, she lurched to the side of the cab and peered around the edge of the window. But the yellow glow of Douglas's lantern was already fading gradually away, taking Lucy along with it. Sinking back into the seat, she battled her tears back into submission. She knew in her heart with all certainty